What if I told you that your brand is speaking a language that you don't understand? Every day, without saying a word, your brand is communicating loudly, and it's shaping perceptions and influencing emotions and determining whether people trust you, buy from you, or forget you. The craziest part is that you may be completely unaware of how it's doing this. Symbols shape our reality, and they always have. Colors, sounds, images, and words have been used for centuries to control emotions and control perceptions. Think about it. Countries have flags, religions have icons, corporations have logos, and even civilizations have been built on the power of symbolic storytelling. And yet, most entrepreneurs, mom and pop storefronts, and even some mid sized corporations today are completely blind to this truth. They're outsourcing identity development projects to novice who just learned Photoshop and Canva. They create logos without meaning, pick random colors, and hope you like and approve their work. Now, let me show you how crazy this is. If you go to a foreign country that don't speak your language, to navigate, you wouldn't rely on someone that simply knows how to mimic the sounds of the language. You would need an interpreter, someone fluent in both languages that can translate meaning effectively. This is exactly what a strong brand experience does. It bridges the gap between company and its audience, ensuring the message is understood and resonates deeply. But the world's most iconic brands, they understand these secrets and pay millions to activate this art form and instinctive language. These are the companies I call creative driven brands. Hi, my name is DelanoAJ Johnson, the president of FraserNet and the CEO of Creativity, better known as the Master Brand Architect. And today, I'm going to teach you how to build a purpose-driven brand. Let's go. Every great brand has a secret language, hidden meaning baked into its DNA. And once you see it, you will never unsee it. Take FedEx, for example. You thought that logo was just letters, huh? Well, look again. There's a hidden arrow tucked right between the E and the X, a symbol of speed, precision, and forward movement. That's not an accident. Or let's consider 7 Up. Ever wonder why it was called 7 Up? Because the original formula contained lithium citrate, an ingredient used in mood stabilizers that targeted the seventh chakra, the one associated with enlightenment. Coincidence? Nah. And then there's AT&T's logo, the blue globe with white bands wrapped around it. It's not just a ball, it's a symbol of global connection wrapped in the energy of movement. And the message? We connect the world. The best brands don't just look good, they mean good. Your subconscious is wired to react to certain shapes in certain ways, and this is why brands use certain geometric structures strategically. For example, triangles denote power, direction, and movement. Think Adidas and Delta Airlines. Squares convey stability and security and order. Think Microsoft and American Express. Circles signify unity, eternity, and wholeness. Imagine Starbucks, Target, and NASA. But it doesn't stop at shapes. Every frequency, visually or auditory, affects the way people feel about your brand. Ever notice why McDonald's "I'm loving it" jingle is so catchy? It's because sound frequencies activate emotions and recall better than words alone. That's why the most powerful brands don't just look distinct, they sound distinct. There's a rhythm to color theory and emotion. It is the science of why people buy. You see, colors aren't just pretty, they manipulate your emotions on purpose, and marketers have been using this knowledge for decades. Red creates urgency, passion, and action. Blue builds trust, calmness, and security. This is banks, social networks, and healthcare, almost always blue. Yellow sparks hunger, happiness, and warmth. Think of McDonald's, Subway, and every other fast food chain has somewhere in their identity yellow. Now, if you don't understand the psychological power of your brand's colors, you could be pushing away customers without even knowing it. And yet, I see business doing this all the time, choosing colors based on a personal preference rather than strategic impact. It is important that you understand brand language because here's a brutal truth. If your brand lacks symbolic cohesion, your audience will feel disconnected no matter how good your product is. And I've seen this thousands of times. A business with great products with a weak brand will struggle. Meanwhile, a company with just an okay product but with a powerful brand, they win over and over again because people don't just buy products, they buy meaning. And meaning is created through symbols, colors, shapes, and subconscious cues. The best brands in the world are authentic, original, and unique. Is yours? Think about that as we move into part two, because next we're going to dive deep into where the word brand comes from and why most businesses, could be even yours, are getting it wrong. Without a brand mark, typographical, or symbol, how would you know that a BMW is in fact a real BMW? Or would you eat at Wendy's if one day the logo was changed to just the words, Great Hamburger? Branding has always been a marker of identity and ownership. This wasn't just about aesthetics, it was about authority and ownership. In the beginning, God said, Let us make man in our own image and our likeness. So, what does this mean? It means that the Creator made us to look like Him in some ways and to also behave like Him in others. Whenever you saw humans do something, you're seeing a reflection of God. And whenever you experience God, you experience aspects of humanity. This is serious because God didn't just put His logo on us, He shaped us to be like Him in a meaningful way. Our identity marks His work as a designer of our world and our reality. In the same way, we mimic Him by creating children in our image and likeness and establishing businesses and productions and brands in our images and in our likeness, marking them with our names and our image to let the world know who owns it. The word name itself, in its etymology and Paleo Hebrew meaning, represents the nature of a thing. This means that every artist and creator has a direct identity relationship with the thing that they invent, create, or make. Business and brands are no different. They carry our ideas, philosophies, and thinking. And just so everyone knows that it's ours, we put a mark on it. We burn that mark so that it's not confused with anything else in the market. The word brand comes from the Old Norse word meaning to burn, a term originally used to describe the act of marking livestock with fire-heated irons to signify ownership. Over time, branding evolved beyond just little marks of possessions into powerful tools of influence, identity, and authority. The foundation of branding has always been about one thing: ownership. Throughout history, we've seen branding used as a marker of power and influence. Artists sign their paintings. This is a stamp of authorship. A Rembrandt isn't valuable just because it's beautiful, it's valuable because he made it. Athletes sign shoes. Regular sneakers become worth thousands when a Michael Jordan signature is on it. The brand is his signature. Banks brand mortgage contracts. When you sign, you aren't just buying a home, you're pledging loyalty to that financial institution. Even the book of Genesis explains branding. God made us in His own image, appearance, in purpose and likeness, behavior, and personality. This means that branding is embedded in our very identity. We are reflections of a higher design created to represent something greater than ourselves. From cattle ranchers to corporations, branding has always been a sign of who controls what, and that is still true today. If your brand isn't clearly marked, and if your business is lacking a signature or your store originality, then you don't truly own your space in the market. Here's a case study in branding excellence with David Ogilvy. It's the science of emotional connection. Now, David Ogilvy is a name synonymous with the golden age of advertising, a time when storytelling and psychology merged to create powerful brand identities. He believed that branding was about more than just selling a product. He believed it was selling an emotion, an aspiration, and an identity. He didn't just sell products, he sold brands with personality. One of his biggest insights and contribution was this quote that says, the consumer is not a moron, she's your wife, end quote. Meaning that if you treat your audience like intelligent people, they will trust you and buy from you. Madam C.J. Walker. She was a personal brand empire. Before there was Oprah or Beyonce, there was Madam C.J. Walker. But before Madam C.J. Walker, there was Annie Malone, a pioneering entrepreneur and philanthropist who became a millionaire in 1913. Malone founded Poro College, a beauty school and product line that laid the foundation for Black hair care and business ownership. Madam C.J. Walker, one of the first Black female entrepreneurs, built on this foundation and scaled her personal brand to an empire. Her success was not just a solo effort, though. Her husband, Charles Joseph Walker, played a crucial role in her brand's expansion. As her marketing strategist, Charles helped her to craft compelling advertising that introduced innovative direct sales tactics that took her business to new heights. She proved that identity was not just about selling product, but it was about selling transformation. Now, let's look at Nike's Just Do It slogan. Nike's legendary slogan, Just Do It, was inspired by a convicted murderer, Scary Gilmore. Before his execution, he was asked for his final statement, and his response, let's do it. Nike's marketing team took those chilling words and turned them into one of the most powerful slogans in branding in history, which is proof that branding is about storytelling. Because marketing is how you attract people. Branding is why they remember you. A great marketing may get people to know who you are, but branding gets them coming back and spreading the word. Here's the benchmark that you need to hit. Brands that are remembered create value by being authentic, original, and unique. Remember this point. You, yes, you, your personality, likes, dislikes, and experiences are the well that will water the identity of your business, product, or your charitable work for humanity. Next up, I'm going to talk about and address why the market is now changing from artificial to organic, and why this is your opportunity to create a brand that is authentic, that is original, and that is unique. That's the brand that I call a purpose-driven brand. We are on the precipice of a branding crisis, and most businesses don't even realize it. The rise of AI has changed the game, making content creation faster, marketing more automated, and design more accessible. But at what cost? Originality is dying, and creativity is being replaced with copy-paste strategies. And brands are slowly losing the one thing that makes them stand out, their human touch. What happens when every brand looks the same, when algorithms dictate what is being seen, and when creativity becomes a commodity instead of a craft? In any economy, the rarest commodity is always the most expensive and valuable. The most precious thing we have is the authentic human experience and interaction that we have, something we take for granted because we're glued to our mobile devices and the 7 screens that feed us a constant diet of dopamine every day. However, in the next 10 years, these experiences will become extremely valuable. The future of everything will be about staying human. AI has become an echo chamber. Today's branding world is built on trends and templates, and here's the problem. AI tools recycle ideas. They pull from existing content, meaning that your brand isn't building something new. It's just remixing the past. Brands chase virality instead of vision and focuses on what's trending instead of what's timeless. The illusion of originality, just because something is new doesn't mean that it's unique. We're entering an hour when branding is becoming extremely close to being generic. AI should remain a tool and not replace human creativity. So, to keep AI honest and useful for your purpose-driven brand purposes, here's my personal top 10 AI tools that enhance your creativity without automating entirely your creative process. Number 1, Grammarly. Helps refine your writing without changing your voice or intent. Number 2, Notion AI. Assists with organization and idea structure, keeping your brand strategy clear. Number 3, Adobe Sensei. It enhances creative workflows but still requires human direction. Number 4, copy.ai. This helps you to generate content ideas but needs human refinement to maintain authenticity. Number 5, Runway ML provides creative video and image editing support while allowing for hands-on input. Number 6, ChatGPT, a brainstorming partner but not a replacement for your unique voice. Number 7, Descript, a powerful tool for video and audio editing that still requires human storytelling direction. Number 8, Phrase.ai, that helps optimize content for SEO while keeping original human writing at the forefront. Number 9, Jasper.ai, great with copywriting assistant, but it still needs a creative touch to maintain authenticity. And number 10, Murph AI, enhances voice over production but requires human input for human connection. Why is this important? Because whoever helps you create your brand becomes a parent to it. And I don't know about you, but I am not ready for designer babies and android coworkers for the next 1,000 years. I want God-designed, 100% flesh and plasma, real blood human brains that carries my essence and values forward. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't mention any AI-powered tools that creates logos and websites, and that's intentional. The tools above are most designers use to enhance their creativity, ensuring that there is a great human feel and a natural feel in what is produced. So here's why I believe the value of originality will rise. When everything looks the same, what stands out? Scarcity drives value. And think about a rare diamond, or limited edition to or specific sneakers. The rarer something is, the more valuable it becomes. The same applies to originality and branding. AI cannot create history, it can only replicate it. AI can't feel human emotion, it can only mimic patterns. AI cannot innovate, it can only rearrange what already exists. The brands that thrive in the future will be those that go beyond AI-generated noise and offer something genuinely fresh, personal, and something deeply human. Here's something very human to observe. This is when a brand becomes a cultural moment. In 2020, the world watched as a single video reshaped conversations on race, justice, and activism. The video of George Floyd's murder wasn't just another piece of content. It became a cultural and branding moment that no company could ignore. Brands rushed to respond. Some did it authentically and others did it performatively. But the lesson was clear. Real moments create real brands. The future of branding isn't in AI-generated content. It's in real human experiences that shape our history. So the question becomes, how do you build a brand that stays human? If AI is making everything the same, how do you ensure that your brand stays different? Well, here's a strategy. Number 1, embrace your creative imperfections. AI seeks perfection, but perfection is forgettable. Human quirks is the things that makes real stories real. Number 2, tell stories that AI cannot. Share real stories, real problems, real victims, real wins, so that you own those stories. Number 3, stop chasing virality. Build a brand rooted in your truth, not the algorithm's preferences. The future of branding will belong to those who dare to be human. Brands of today are chasing virality, likes, and views at the expense of their authenticity, their originality, and their uniqueness. Is your brand AI-generated noise, or is it a human-driven movement? Because you see, in part 4, we're going to dive into your purpose is the narrative of your brand and why the best brands in the world are built on missions and not marketing. If your brand doesn't have a purpose, it is just noise. Think about the brands that truly move people. Apple, Tesla, Patagonia, Nike. What do they have in common? They don't just sell products, they sell a mission. They aren't just companies, they are movements. Branding isn't about logos or colors so much. It's about a compelling story with purpose at its core. And if your brand lacks purpose, then people will forget you the moment they scroll past your ad. The way you determine the purpose of a brand is because it is outlined in every single conversation. It screams at you their story, their emotional connection, their mission, the thing that drive their resources to accomplish their goal, and the prize and end goal of how success looks, sounds, and feels at the end of all their activities and conversation to you as a potential customer. For example, I made my first million at 33, but by 39, I lost everything. And that's when I realized that as a creative entrepreneur, 96% of us spend most of our time spending money to make money, but not too much of us spend money to learn how to keep money. So I wrote a book called I Refuse to Live Talented and Broke 10 Keys to Unlocking Your Creative Earning Potential. I wanted to help other creatives who were headed down the same road as I was, with over 720 speaking engagements in the last 10 years, averaging 6 keynotes per month with an audience size of 320 people. That's a total of 252,000 people reached in person. Now, I'm helping people by teaching them how not to be talented and broke. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now, let's talk about how you turn your purpose into the most powerful branding tool that you have. Branding is a story. It's not a product. People don't remember features, they remember stories. Christianity, for example, the most successful philanthropic brand in history, has lasted over 2,000 years, not because of its rules, but because of its stories: hope, sacrifice, redemption. Alfred Nobel created dynamite. When he saw how his invention was being used for war, he changed the narrative, creating an award for those who advanced humanity. Your brand must answer this question: what is the story that makes people believe in me? Let's talk about your brand's core identity. Now, before we do that, you must understand that there's 5 different types of brands. Understanding the right one helps you to build the correct narrative. So, number 1, there's a personal branding. Think Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, Dr. George C. Fraser. This is the individual who has crafted a story around an idea and a product to serve you, a potential customer. Service branding. Your expertise become the brand. Think FedEx, DHL, or 1-800-Flowers. Then there's corporate branding. The company is the base. You can think of Apple, Toyota, or Amazon. Product branding. The product drives the story. Think Tesla, Rolex, or Nike. Then there's philanthropic brands, where the mission becomes the story. Think Tom's, or the Nobel Prize, or Red Cross. The question is, which one are you? Now, here is 4 steps that you can use right now to start your journey towards a purpose-driven brand that is authentic, that is original, and that is unique. Number 1, clarify your brand's purpose. Define your why. Your brand should represent more than just a product or service. It should stand for a mission that resonates with people on an emotional level. 2, develop a compelling narrative. Your story is your strongest marketing tool, and make sure that every interaction, whether it's speech or social media post or face-to-face meeting, reinforces your brand's core message. Number 3, align your actions with your mission. Don't just talk about your purpose, demonstrate it, and ensure that your business decisions and partnerships and messaging consistently reflect your core values. And number 4, engage your audience authentically. Create genuine connections with your customer. Listen to their needs. Tell stories that inspire, and build a brand that people want to be a part of. Speaking of stories, I'd like to leave you with this particular story. A salesman walked into a town determined to sell shoes. However, despite his best efforts, not a single pair was sold. Day after day, he watched as people walked by barefoot, completely uninterested in his products. As time passed, his financial situation worsened. and his funds was running out, and he had nothing to show for his efforts. One day, while sitting outside his small shop in despair, the town's hardware owner approached him and asked, "What are these things you call shoes?" At his wits' end, the salesman, overcome with emotion, began to cry, and as tears rolled down his face, he shared a deeply personal story. He told the store owner about how, as a child, he suffered from a rare disease that made his feet incredibly tender. Walking outside and even on freshly cut grass caused painful blisters. One day, tired of missing out as a child, he took pieces of an old leather jacket, wrapped it around his feet, and tied them in place with rope. From that moment on, he vowed to make sure that every child had a proper pair of shoes. The store owner, moved by his story, wept alongside of him. And then the salesman noticed something he had previously overlooked. The store owner was blind. The store owner explained, "My father founded this town because we all suffer from a rare disease that causes blindness by the age of 2 or 3. We've never seen shoes on, we've never understood their purpose." Feeling a deep sense of empathy, the store owner called together the townspeople, and that very day, everyone in the town bought a pair of shoes, not because they can see them, but because they felt the story of the salesman. They connected to it. The moral of the story is, your story is what sells people, not the product. The product is simply solving the problem that they never knew they had. If people connect with your why, they will invest in your what. Words shape pictures for those who were never in the frame, and a great brand personalizes its story so that others can see themselves in it. Here's a final task for you. I want you to think about the most difficult time in your life. I want you to think about the details and who was involved, and more importantly, what 3 lessons did you learn? For example, did you try to fix a problem at work, but they were rejected? Did you take it home and you built whatever the solution was and now you're selling it? That rejection becomes a part of your story. It aligns with your purpose and your story so that you will be able to communicate to people and they will be able to see themselves in you. If you follow the actions in this presentation, you are actually ready to create your authentic, original, and unique brand. You are on your way to create a brand that will speak to the soul of your customers. You now have what I would call a purpose-driven brand. With that said, thanks for listening. My name is DelanoAJ, president of FraserNet, the CEO of Creativity, better known as the Master Brand Architect. And until next time, see you soon.